Pearl's kind of wrestling around me, trying to get a cuddle. Stop it, you. Maisie wants a cuddle, so Pearl's giving her what for. Yeah. All right, girls. Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm going to sit down and talk to people. You go wrestle in the grass.
Good morning. Good morning. What a gorgeous morning it is here today. They're still on the deck wrestling. I'm Barbara. Welcome. Thank you for joining me for my coffee. Oh, Dennis brought me a coffee in bed today, so I'm a little late. It's Sunday. '30th? Maybe. Oh, excuse me. 30th. And it is stunningly gorgeous. We had a front go through last night, so we had some storms. Pearl was in the crate for a little while. But by the time we were going to bed, it was stars, and now it's puffy clouds and gorgeous. I'm in my Boxy. Okay, I gotta go get a tissue because I'll sneeze the whole I can stop my hiccups by pulling on my ear, but I need to blow my nose when I have sneezes, so no point in trying to soldier on. Girls went in with me when I went to get the tissue. Pearl grabbed the snake, and now they're wrestling over the snake on the deck, so there'll be some earthquakes. David Dog Dare knows toys. He has picked the best toys for these girls, let me tell you. They are so lucky that he is their friend. So, there will be earthquakes and squeaking as I sit here. I think I'll be spending a lot of the day outside on my deck today. We're going to visit Dennis's parents tonight, see them. Can you get past me in the back? That's the only thing on the agenda except to continue working on my material girl. I am about 15 rows from splitting for the sleeves, so I'm almost all the way through the yoke. I'm so loving... Now they're in the grass. You'll be able to see them maybe. I am so loving the fabric that this yarn is knitting up. I'm just loving every minute of it, which is very fun, I must say. And I was going to show it to you, but then I didn't bring it out. I already went back upstairs the second time because I forgot to put my earrings on. These are earrings I made. I made the bead, and then I made these little silver knots that are in them. These are on a wire that goes all the way through and into my ear. And so, well, they swing, but they swing in a way that I think would be a little bit better if they were on a little thin chain or something a little more fluid. But they're cute. I like them. Anyway, good morning. What? Be nice. I blew dry my hair this morning, so I'm all fluffed. Oh, not much going on around here. Right, puppy? We're boring, aren't we? Had a nice walk yesterday. That was it. That's all. There was an interesting, I learned something new. There was an article in a British paper, you know, with the internet you get to see all kinds of stuff. An article in a British paper basically saying that for Zoomers, if you use a period, which we call a period in the United States, or a full stop in Britain, punctuation in your text, that's like insulting and a terrible thing to do if you're a Zoomer. So I texted my niece, Ella, who is a sophomore at the University of Delaware, and asked her, is that true? And she said, well, you know, when I'm texting, you know, with older people, i.e. me, you know, it's perfectly normal and not a problem at all. But if my friend texted me with a period, I'd worry. I had no idea. I mean, I know, you know, you've seen pictures of text and whatever, and there's no punctuation, and, you know, everything's abbreviated and all that stuff. But I had no idea. Isn't that interesting? Every generation sort of makes up their own thing or does their own thing or whatever. So yeah, yeah. He said if one of my friends put a period, I'd worry. Different cultures, you know, so it's so easy to do something insulting in another culture that you don't even know. Now, she's so understanding. She has such a clear understanding of my generation and what we think and what we do because she grew up in it, that, you know, she knows that I'm not insulting her or trying to insult her by putting punctuation in my texts. And I tried to answer her. I answered her text with another text, and that I was trying to be really careful not to put any periods in. Still got a period in there. I couldn't, you know, it's like habit, or I don't know, you know, 2 space bars puts a text. I mean, it puts a period. Anyway, so my girls are back. They've wrestled and now they're back. Back with us. So anyway, I thought that was really interesting. So you don't even know what your own kids are thinking and doing, and how you might be interacting with them in a way that, while they'll understand it because they've been interacting with you their whole lives, it's not part of their generation's interaction. So you can see how it would be really easy to unknowingly have a misunderstanding, how easy to have a misunderstanding with someone who grew up in a different culture, even within your country. You know, there's so many cultures. Everybody, you know, on some level, every family has a family culture, and then, you know, as the groups get bigger, there are cultures and cultures and cultures, you know. Anyway, I was shocked. I had no idea that it was an actual, you know, thing. But Dennis is teaching me about Twitter. He's on Twitter, and, you know, so there's a thing on Twitter. If you're on Twitter, you already know this, apparently. I don't know if Dennis weren't on Twitter. Well, if Dennis weren't on Twitter, I probably wouldn't be on Twitter at all. But if he weren't on Twitter, I would never know this, but there is such a thing as being ratioed. It's a bad thing to be ratioed, and I guess that means the percentage of retweets or comments to likes. You know, and I'm not sure which way is bad. I think if you have more comments than likes, or a very close number, that's bad. Anyway, it's called being ratioed, and it's a thing on Twitter. And I don't think I would have ever, unless you were sort of reading articles about Twitter where they told you these things. If you're on your own on Twitter, I don't know how you find these out. I mean, I had to ask him today. I was reading a tweet, and at the end it said SMH. And I'm like, SMH? What's SMH? He says, shake my head. Like, you know, like you put something and you just can't believe it and you shake your head like that. I've been seeing it on a lot of tweets, but I didn't know what it meant. I'm like, and I couldn't figure it. I mean, sometimes you can figure it out. Shake my head? No. So there are languages, there are greater languages like, you know, Spanish and English and French and Arabic and, you know. And then there are languages like English and American, which aren't exactly the same, or British English and American, or Irish English and American, or Australian English and American, or Australian English and British English. I don't even know. So there are those differences within a language. And then now there are, you know, I'm sure there are cultural differences between, you know, different immigrant populations in English in America, and you know, different cultures, people of color, like the black Americans, you know, have their own, you know, way to speak to each other, and now we and Native Americans probably do too. I don't have a lot of Native Americans in my neighborhood. And now it's within generations. And apparently, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if the Zoomer generations around the world all understood this, don't use a period. So maybe that's something that's bringing people together. I don't even know. It's really interesting to think about. And I'm always astonished how much I don't know. I used to think I knew everything, you know. The older you get, the less you know. Well, certainly the less certain you are. I watched a TED Talk once, and I wish I could remember who it was. It was a young woman. And it was a TED Talk about making mistakes. And it really, really struck me. And I think it's because of the way I am and my personality, but it really struck me. She was talking about making mistakes. And she asked the audience to think about, how does it feel to make a mistake? And I've asked some people this. And the answer is usually, you know, I feel bad, I feel embarrassed, I feel this, I feel that. But her response to that was, no, you feel right until you find out you've made a mistake. It's when you find out you've made a mistake that you feel embarrassed or whatever. But while you're making the mistake, you feel like you're being right. So all those times you're sitting there feeling like, I know what I'm talking about, I'm right, I'm this, I'm that, you know, and you haven't discovered yet that in fact you're wrong and you made a mistake. You're very confident that you're right. This is why it struck me, because I've always been like, you know, I used to have a really good memory. I always would go, if I remembered something, I would go with it. I would push it full bore. You know, I would like bet money on. If I remembered it, it was right. That doesn't happen anymore because my memory is not as good as it used to be. And I know it. But, you know, I just used to have sort of a certainty. If I thought I was right, I really thought I was right, you know. I mean, I hope I wasn't obnoxious about it, although I'm sure some people thought I was. But that really struck me as like being wrong feels exactly like being right. It feels, if you're wrong, it feels exactly like being right until you come to the understanding that you were wrong. It's really, you know, I don't know about you, but every once in a while I come across something that really makes me stop and reevaluate and think. And this was one of those things for me. And I wish I could remember the woman's name, but if you find it on TED Talk, she's part of her talk, she's talking about she got a tattoo that was a mistake. It's just to help you identify the video if you come across it. And I'll look for it, actually, because I'd like to listen to it again. But, yeah, being wrong feels exactly like being right until you discover that you're wrong. It's made me much less certain about things I think I'm right about. And much less adamant. And I think those are good things. I really do. I think those are good things. Because there are so few things in the world that are black and white and you can know for sure you're right. All you know is that you believe you're right and you think you're right. There are things that are actual facts in this world. It's something that's being lost on a lot of people, that there are things that are facts. That people are saying, well, that's your opinion. You know, well, a fact is not based on opinion. But there are a lot of opinions out there that people are stating as facts. And they aren't facts. Those things are opinions. And apparently it's really hard to tell the difference. I have my own opinion about which facts are facts and which are opinions, and vice versa. But anyway, that just really struck me, is there's so many cultures within our cultures. They're tiny little cultures that have their own language and their own set of rules. And luckily for us old people, the Zoomers grew up in our world, and so my niece is not insulted when I use punctuation in my texts. She understands the context. She understands my intention and grants me my intention. But if her friend sends her a period, she's gonna worry. So funny. Ugh, it is so gorgeous out here. I am gonna bring my knitting outside, and I am going to sit out here after I put up this video and enjoy my day. And it's cool enough I can wear my Boxy, and it's breezy and lovely. And I hope you're having a breezy, lovely, cool day. I hope the front went through and you're enjoying and you have good weather, and you're recovering from the horrible weather, and are safe and healthy and doing okay. Doing okay. It's a tough time. People are struggling. People are struggling. I watched the Fat Squirrel's last podcast, and it's clear that she is just working on a lot of stuff. She's working on a lot of stuff, and is feeling the emotional pressure of the time, of the COVID, of the protests, of being in the United States now. Is not easy. And I felt bad. I feel like she's really working on it, you know. She's having a tough time, I think. And you know, and she's still podcasting and letting people know, and it's important for people to know that they're not alone. You're not alone. There are so many things to work out and to figure out and to work through. And it frankly wasn't that easy before COVID, so it's just one more horrible, horrible layer on top. So I hope you guys are all managing. I'm grateful to have you with me with my coffee. I did have my cod liver oil. And I am going to be on my deck. If you want to think about where I am today, it'll be sitting on this deck. I'll be looking at that view because I'll be sitting in that chair. So I can look at the view, finish my yoke. I'm hoping to split for the sleeves today. And I'll try to remember to bring it out tomorrow and show you, because it's looking so much fun. And I think my mohair is coming tomorrow. So I won't even, I'm getting a little towards the end of my first skein of yarn. I don't know if it's going to make it all the way through the yoke. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, I might have, this might be half and half. Half nubby and half mohair. Who knows? I'm not sure. But I will keep you posted. I will see you tomorrow. Take good care of yourselves, please. And stay safe and stay sane.